G'day, welcome to Pay It Forward. Today's tutorial I'm going to be showing you how to make this little Peppa Pig phone cover. I've designed this one to perfectly suit the iPhone 6 series. Most of the iPhone 6 styles will fit into this one. You can slightly adjust your pattern to fit your own phone. You'll find it very easy to make. It's simply a matter of cutting out little felts templates. I give you the free templates. If you click on the link in the description below, you can print out that template sheet. It'll have all of your instructions on there for cutting out. Get them printed out and we can get started. So to get started on a little Peppa Pig phone cover today, you will have downloaded your free pattern sheet that has all your pattern templates. The instructions are on there and it also gives you all of your colour choices that you'll need. Now I ask that you cut out some of these pieces with what I call double felt. Double felt is simply two pieces of felt joined together with fusible webbing, which is the fusible webbing paper sheet that goes in between. So iron those together. I generally iron my pieces of felt together first and then I cut out my pattern piece from that. Double felt can be made with two pieces of felt the same colour, or as I have here, I can just have one side one colour and one side the other. So first up you'll need to cut a phone cover case front and a phone cover case back, and they're both cut in double felt. Remember to transfer your markings. You'll see there's a couple of little lines on your pattern pieces. That tells you where your little Velcro strip fasteners are going to go. You also need to cut a back head in double felt there. So there's no fusible webbing on the back of this one here. So you'll also need, next, that's all we cut in the double felt. Next we cut the head, the front face of the head, and that's a single felt and it has fusible webbing applied. I've just pulled that paper off there. You'll need your little cheek piece. You'll need your two eye pieces, your eye circles, and a little smiley mouth. And the colours are all fairly obvious there, but they're written on your pattern pieces as well. You also need your little light pink ear inserts there. Add to that a little pink button, a two-hole button, so it looks like little nostrils for the nose. Fairly plain works best and fairly flat works best. Also two little white buttons that are four-hole buttons for the eye centres, and then to that I'm going to add two more little four-hole black, tiny black eye buttons, and we're going to actually double button sew through both of those. We also need one little heart. You'll find a little heart-shaped template. You can choose a print if you like. You don't have to put the heart on the phone cover. I just think it adds a little bit of colour there and that's sweet. We're going to machine that one on. You'll need your two little pieces of Velcro fastening. So we're going to be applying those to our little phone cover. And so to get started, our first task, we'll just move those out the way. Our first task will be to peel off our backing paper off of this one, and we're going to pop that one into place and fuse it with a hot iron and a protective cloth right about 2 centimetres from the base. Nicely centred, 2 centimetres from the base on the front of your front piece. At the same time, I'm actually going to sew on, lining up my little Velcro piece, centering it and lining that up there. I'm going to be sewing on right around the edge of that little Velcro piece, and then I'm going to do the same thing with the corresponding. Make sure that you're popping it on the right part so that your little phone case will have a Velcro closing like that. So I'm going to sew those on. I'm going to sew this one on with a little machine stitch. You could alternatively do an applique blanket stitch, but in keeping with the commercial sort of product and the way that the little Peppa Pig looks, I think it'll work better with a machine stitch. There you can see those little Velcro pieces stitched on and their little heart in place. So now we're just going to sew our phone cover front to our phone cover back, and I'll show you on the little mini schnauz. Look out for this one too. I have a video on how to make this little one, and if I show you there, you'll be able to see exactly how we stitch those together. I just machine sew starting from this point here. Make sure you back and forth and reinforce. and go all the way around the outside. I don't even find I need to pin it because the felt holds onto itself quite well. All the way around, as you can see there, and I continue on, reinforce here, continue on, as you can see there, all the way around for a nice top stitch finish on your machine. There we have our little phone case, the base of our case, all nicely sewn up. You can see that that one will close nicely there. Now if you're wanting to make this, add an additional little strap to this little phone case, you can make it into a child's little pouch or bag. Now would be the time that I would add a little cord right across the front there. You can see that that would close over. Best way to attach that one would be to use a matching thread on your machine and just go over that cord with a fairly wide zigzag stitch back and forth, and that'd hold that just nicely in place, and you'd find that you could create a nice little girl's bag. So that's just an additional extra you can add if you like. But for now we'll just pop that one aside and we will start working on our little face. So our next task is to take our little Peppa Pig back head, and we're just going to go back to our ironing board or ironing press, and we're going to press on. You can do this one at a time or all at once. I like to do them piece by piece. So first of all we're going to iron on that little face piece. Make sure that you've got an even amount of colour showing all the way around, and then we will simply add piece by piece our little ears, our little cheek. Placement is, it's fairly clear there. Our little mouth, our little wider end of our mouth is about here. See, that sits up to about there, and our little eye circle, so first little eye tends to sit pretty much central underneath those two ears there, and we're going to press those all on, ready for our buttons. There I have all of my little face pieces pressed securely into place there. My next step is to sew a machine straight stitch. As I have, you can see again on the mini schnauzer, you can see that I've sewn on the machine all around the very outside of the entire face piece. So on little Peppa Pig here, I'll just go all the way around under the chin, and I will go over the two little ears and meet up at the front there. So there you can see that little face piece there is nicely top stitched. It really does give it a nice little professional edge there. It does strengthen that edge as well. Our next step is to attach our face to the top flap of our phone cover there. Now the positioning for this one, she does tend to stand with her little nose a little up in the air, and if you have a look at the back there, you can see just so I have that top line showing and those two little ears. So the positioning is about just where that just sits a little lower there. So have it, get your positioning exactly where you want it, and when you're sure. Now there's a couple of ways that we're going to be attaching this one. We're going to sew the buttons, the eye buttons on, and we're going to sew them all the way through, and that will anchor that little face on there. We're also going to sew a machine stitching line over that mouth, which will do the same thing. Just to make it a little easier for you when you're working on your machine and not having that little face move, I like to use a little bit of hot glue, and I use my little Velcro stitching mark there as a guide. So I'm going to add my hot glue to this section, then I'm going to position my little face in place, and it's just enough just to hold it, so when I do my sewing it's much easier. So I've got my hot glue gun here, and it really is just a matter of adding just a little bit to that section, because you don't want to put it all over the front because that may interfere with your sewing. So pop that on. I'm just going to position that exactly where I want it. So just checking from behind, you can see again I've just got some showing, and the two little ears above. Give that a little press and let that dry. So now with my little hot glue dry there, I'm going to be sewing just a little machine stitching line. I can open that up now and pop that under the machine, and I'm going to sew in just a the same sort of colour tones, a deep pink or deep orange. So one straight line back and forth over that mouth section, which will join it nicely to the flap. And I'm also now going to sew on my little double buttons. I like to just sew the white one on with a couple of stitches first, and then you can add your little black one, and you'll find that'll go, you sew that all the way through that flap, and also your little nose button. So now is the time to do that. Those little nostril holes tend to sit just on a little angle. So there we have little Peppa Pig's eye sewn on and her little nose button, and you can see there that that little machine stitching line has just nicely anchored that little face piece there. Have a look at my miniature schnauzer phone cover tutorial as well. I'm going to be doing a lot more little phone covers, and please comment and let me know the sorts of characters and styles that you would like to see, and I can see if I can get to work on those for you. If you have enjoyed this video, and I certainly hope you have, you can give it a thumbs up, that would be beaut. This little project's also wonderful for market sales. Make them up and enjoy them. So remember to pay it forward by making them for somebody else. In any way that you can pay it forward, we should. Thanks for watching, and for now it's hooroo from me.